Hello there, everybody. Happy Independence Day to all my viewers in the United States, and happy Kuno the Tank Engine Day to all my viewers worldwide. Why do I say this? Well, today marks the 18th anniversary of the Kuno the Tank Engine series. On this day, 18 years ago, Felix Cheng released the first episode of Kuno the Tank Engine. This series featured a variety of different YouTube users portrayed as alternate incarnations of the various characters from Thomas the Tank Engine, and it also inspired other users to do their own series doing something similar. Even so, Kuno the Tank Engine is the most recognized series to do something like this to this day. From July of 2007 to some point in late 2009, Felix Cheng had created 17 episodes of the original Kuno the Tank Engine series, with an 18th episode planned, but it never came out. Until 2024, that is. Which is the very thing we'll be discussing today. In 2014, I recreated the original 17 episodes using the various images from MAJ Host before it went down for its 10-plus year maintenance. What I am going to do for this video is tell you about the changes that were made with every version of Kuno the Tank Engine Generation 1, from the original version created by Felix Cheng, all the way to the most recent 2024 revision that I brought out in November of last year. So without further ado, let's get started with this. I will begin by discussing the differences between the various pictures before examining the differences between the episodes themselves. Let's start with the characters that have human-like faces. The characters who have such faces include Kuno, Lee Claxton, Crazy Teddy X, Elizabeth Snyder, Molly Height, and Edward No. 10. In the original version and the 2014 revision, their faces were either peach or brown, depending on the source of the picture. Except for Elizabeth Snyder, all of their faces were changed to gray to match with the rest of the characters. Elizabeth Snyder's image isn't altered since she is supposed to be Annie, who is a character that doesn't have a gray face. I figured I'd give a sum up of all of these characters, since if I mentioned them individually, I'd be repeating myself. The next difference is with Black's Kid 275. In the original and the 2014 versions of the series, Black's Kid 275 is shown with a cigarette in his mouth and is called the Smoking Controller. In the 2024 revision, the cigarette is removed and he is given a black top hat like Sir Top of Hat, and is now called the Northwestern Railway Controller. Felix Cheng uploaded the raw version of the picture he used for Black's Kid 275 on MAJ Host, and it was called Black's Kid 275. So I think that it is safe to say that this is what Black's Kid 275 looks like in real life. Well, at least in 2007. I am not sure if Felix Cheng got this image from one of Black's Kid 275's videos or whatnot, but using this image, I was able to make the alterations as well as use the face for the Generation 2 version of the character. Next we have the character of Percy. In the original, he is called Pervy with a V, which is the actual name of the user. But this was changed to Perfy with an F for the 2024 version. Elizabeth Snyder and Iku Santanoka do not have their name boards on their sides in the original, but do in the 2024 version. This change was made to make them look more accurate to Annie and Clarabelle, who do have their names on their side. Thomas and Diesel was blue and yellow in the original version, as this was what he requested Felix Cheng to make his character when the series was originally running. In the 2024 version, I've changed him to appear black to match with Diesel. What's interesting is that as I was working on this script, he left a comment on the episode of Generation 2 that he appears in. I asked him about this change and he said that he doesn't remember all that much about requesting how his character should look in the original, so it looks like he's just fine with how his character appears either way. Edward the Evil #1 coal car was orange in the original version in both his pre-rebuilt and post-rebuilt forms. Much like Thomas and Diesel, he was changed for the 2024 version to make him look more accurate to Scruffy. Now we come across the first of the users whose names are censored for being inappropriate. Now, because I prefer to keep things family-friendly, I will not say what their original names were. I will only say how much of their names were censored, if any censorship was done at all in the original version. Starting with the character of Rosie. In the original, this name was not censored at all. In the 2014 version, their name was changed to Force 44 Isa, which is also their name for the MAJ host upload. Yeah, in case anyone is wondering, the name Force 44 Isa is actually the name that was used. The name ends after the letter A, so you'd be thinking that it is an incomplete sentence, which it is, but it's incomplete on purpose, at least in this version. As for the 2024 version, his name is changed to Force 44 is a fool. The word fool is a substitution for the word that I can't use. Next is Mr. C Monkey X. The changes to his name had to be done because there was a word in his name that had more than one meaning. There is the appropriate literal meaning, and then there is the vulgar meaning. I asked somebody I knew what meaning of the word came into their mind first when they heard this name, and their response was the vulgar meaning. So I changed their name to Mr. Monkey X for the 2014 version, while the 2024 version was changed to Mr. C Monkey X. Also, if you watched the 2014 version or saw the original upload in 2007 to 2009, you will notice that Mr. C Monkey X as well as Fireblade RX7 have the numbers 13 and 14 on their sides. This is because at the time, Felix Cheng headcanoned Bill and Ben to have the numbers 13 and 14, as well as Lady having the number 12. But since this is non-canon to either the TV series or the Railway series, the numbers were removed for the 2024 version. A side note, King Spam 78 was never depicted with the number 12, despite this fact. What's funny is that our next character goes the opposite route. In the original and 2014 versions, Tasty Treat 668, which may or may not be misspelled, does not have the number 12 on her tender, as Emily didn't have that number at the time either the original or the 2014 version came out. But in the 2024 version, she is given the number 12. Honestly, while I had seen people make Emily number 12 in their Thomas headcanons, none of us knew at the time that she was going to become number 12 in the show's official canon. And if I was running the show, I would have left it like that. Because of you, Mattel, some characters in my headcanon got demoted, and they're not happy, as aren't I. Next we have the really messed up Lame Boys' name. This was partially censored in the original, while in the 2014 version it is the Really Boys, with the censored words getting taken out. While the 2024 version uses the name the Really Messed Up Lame Boys. The actual username appears to be 24 characters long, which is too many characters for a YouTube username at the time this episode came out, as usernames could only go up to 20 characters. Was he from a different website, or was his name actually shorter? I don't know, and I likely never will. Next is Thomas is Lame, with 3 E's at the end. His name was surprisingly not censored in the original, but it was on the MAJ host upload, being called Thomas Is. Once again, it is an incomplete sentence on purpose. In the 2014 version, his name is Thomas Is YY, and in the 2024 version, he is given the name Thomas Is Lame, with 3 E's. Thomas the Killer 2 in the original and 2014 version shows him painted silver, and he doesn't have his name on his side. However, there is a change between the original and 2014 versions that was unintentional. In the 2014 version, the text on the bottom says, "The Troublesome Hopper," with no space in between the word troublesome and hopper. There should be a space between these two words, but my keyboard went deaf at the time I pushed the space button as I was typing this, and I didn't notice this until after uploading the video. This mistake was not present in the original. It is only present in the 2014 version. This mistake is fixed for the 2024 version, and TTK2 is now painted black and has his name on his side to match with Hector. Since he is not around anymore, I am wondering what his thoughts about this change would have been. Oh well. Next we have GP's sister. She is just called GP's sister in the original version, as well as the 2014 version. But in the 2024 version, she is called Katie, which is her name in real life. Borak1111 doesn't have a face in the original or 2014 version, but since Henrietta got a face in Season 18, Borak1111 gains a face for the 2024 version. By the way, how many of you guys think saying 1111 this many times is fun? Personally, I don't think it is that fun. Maybe I should say Borak 1111. Well, that's more syllables, but I think that I like saying 1111 more than saying 1 4 times in a row. Camel Bully's name was mostly censored in the original version, but in the 2014 version, his name is changed to Camel Bull. And then, in the 2024 version, the name is changed to Camel Bully. Also in the original and the 2014 versions, he is painted gold, but in the 2024 version, he is painted gray to match with Cranky. I know that some people debate that Cranky is actually green, but I see gray personally. What do you guys think? The images for the horrid lorries are mostly changed between the original to the 2024 versions. In the original, all 3 lorries are looking straight ahead, but only Luigi 23466, with 2 6s, is the only one who has his number, as Sagasagi and the Devil May Rise 1 do not have their numbers. This was fixed for the 2024 version, and each lorry is looking in a different direction, with the former looking to his right, and the latter looking to his left. Luigi 23466, who is lorry 2, is the only one to not be altered at all. I just used Luigi 23466's image to make the new versions of the other 2 just by changing what direction their eyes were looking in and changing the number. Another thing to mention that in the original master, Sagasagi has the subtitle The Horrid Lorry, but in the 2014 version, he has the subtitle Lorry 1, which is also the case for Luigi 23466 and the Devil May Rise 1, having the subtitles Lorry 2 and Lorry 3. However, unlike Sagasagi, who was subtitled The Horrid Lorry in the original, the other 2 were called Lorry 2 and 3 from the beginning. In the 2024 revision, all 3 of them are subtitled The Horrid Lorry. I think that it's pretty easy to know which one is which by the numbers that are just in the picture. Next is TC58, also known as Toby and Thomas Fan, and later Tom Dullo. Just bringing this up in case anybody didn't know, or has heard of this guy by any of these names. He had an alteration to his name between versions. In the original, his name is written as TC58. I decided to change this to Thomas Chu58, using his full username instead of the initials. However, I spelled his name wrong, as his name is actually Thomas Cho58, with 1 O in Cho instead of 2. I just went back to the original TC58 for the 2024 version. I also used this name for the Generation 2 version. As for my name, in the original, my name is just one word, Eli J. Brown, but the revision changes it to Eli J. Brown, where my first name, middle initial, and last name are separate words instead of one word. Edward number 10 has the subtitle The Evil Diesel in the 2014 version, but not in the original or the 2024 versions. Something similar occurs with Don't Know It 62 and Vulgar 62, in which in the 2014 version, the text Edward number 10's idiotic sidekick appears, but it is not present in the original or the 2024 versions. Also, for both Don't Know It 62 and Vulgar 62's names, the former's name is mostly censored in the text, but not on his name board, while Vulgar 62's name was not censored at all. In the 2014 version, their name boards were altered with their names changed to Don't Know 62 and V62, although the latter's name board only shows 62, and the former's name board shows a huge gap where the left out word should be. In the 2024 version, they have both their name boards and their text changed to Don't Know It 62 and Vulgar 62. By the way, given as to how both of their names end in 62, is there some sort of a connection, or is this a coincidence? I don't know, and it's likely Felix Cheng probably doesn't know either. Are they the same person? Are they brothers? Or do their names end in 62 by coincidence? I don't know. But I wouldn't be surprised if Felix Cheng actually included them as Splatter and Dodge because both of their names end in 62. As I said, whether or not this is a coincidence, I do not know. Now for another group of users who also have their names censored, but this time it is because of their identity. These would be the characters of Zelda, Bailey, Tiff, and Thunder. Zelda was just referred to as the brother of the Thomas YouTube user he is related to, rather than by his actual username. Tiff was called by her real name, and both Bailey and Thunder were called by their actual usernames. As for why their names were censored, it was because Zelda wasn't a fan of Thomas the Tank Engine, and there certainly was a lot of controversy that went between him and me during this time. But it was my fault, for once anyway. But at least we settled things in the end, and he's pretty lucky that I'm not using his actual name for any of my Thomas the Tank Engine related videos, or even in any of my videos at all. As for Tiff, well, according to her brother, she would not be happy if she saw herself as a character in the Kuno the Tank Engine series. Her brother never explained why, but because of that, her name had to be censored from all public releases. And as for Bailey and Thunder, they had both settled things with Felix Cheng, and I think there was some controversy with their MAJ host uploads, resulting in Bailey's name getting changed to Wataru, and Thunder's name getting changed to Koyashi, which are both Japanese names. Tiff was just called Mountain Coach, as her name couldn't be shown publicly. But since Felix Cheng had nothing to do with the conflict that happened between me and Zelda, his name was not censored on MAJ Host. And as for how their names are changed for the revisions, they are given coded names for the 2014 version, while in the 2024 version, they're given the names Zelda, Bailey, Tiff, and Thunder. Alligator7989 has a similar story to Don't Know It 62. Alligator7989's name was partially censored in the original in the text, but not on the name board. In both the 2014 and 2024 versions, his name is just Alligator7989 in both the text and on the name board. The thing here is that if there is a character with an inappropriate name and their name is written on their side, Felix Cheng doesn't censor the writing on their name boards, only in the text. But as for me, I have it be censored in both areas. Elmo Llama's name is also partially censored in the original, but in the revisions, he's just called Elmo Llama. As for my parents, my dad is called Eli J. Brown's dad, while my mom is just Eli's mom. In the 2014 version, they are called Eli J. Brown's dad and Eli J. Brown's mom, respectively. In the 2024 version, they are called Mr. Brown and Mrs. Brown. The name board on the latter is also altered in the new version. Spammer 12's name wasn't censored in any way in the original, but is in both revisions. Except in the 2014 version, his name is changed to Spam12, and in the 2024 version, it is changed to Spammer12. Emily Trash 79's name was mostly censored in the original, while in the 2014 version, he is called Emily S79, while in the 2024 version, he's called Emily Trash 79. Also, in the original and 2014 versions, he and Black Moon UK have a subtitle to mention which dump truck twin they were supposed to be, with Emily Trash 79 having Max, and Black Moon UK having Monty. In the 2024 version, they instead have the dump truck used for their subtitle. Karen and Laura also have their counterparts' names appear as subtitles originally, which were also present in the 2014 version, but not in the 2024 version. For Nick Bigsby, aka the Fat Hat, he didn't have any detail added on his side originally, but in the 2024 version, I added the detail. I'm not sure why Felix Cheng didn't add them originally. Free Pokemon Triple X's name was not censored in the original, but in both revisions, his name is changed to Free Pokemon Triple X. He also gains a face in the 2024 version. Gilbert and Jack have their names on their side in the original and the 2014 versions, which was based on Felix Cheng's headcanon of Mighty Mac having their names on their side. But in the 2024 version, their names are removed from their side to make them more accurate. Now for El Greeno. If you're wondering what character he is based on, he is based on a character called Ava Willickstein from Felix Cheng's New Engine Slideshow series. As I was writing this script, the original Ava image was found surprisingly, and here it is. However, this character didn't start with Felix Cheng. It was actually started by another user who will remain nameless. What happened is that somebody had made a video of another innocent user, not going to say who though, as a spamming engine because, at the time, the person who made the original spamming engine video had something against this other innocent user. In fact, the original spamming engine image looked different from the one that Felix Cheng made. I also don't have that original image, but I am going to say that in the original, the face just went down to the bumper, not completely round as Felix Cheng's picture shows. If you look at the Generation 2 picture, you may get an idea of how that looked. Also, you know this bumper? Well, originally, the spamming engine's bumper had the initials of the original name, first and last name. Here is my best attempt at recreating the original image. However, the initials I use show OU. They are not the original initials. I use OU, short for original username, to serve as a representative of how the name board originally looked. I actually asked the user who made the original spamming engine video if they would make another one, but with a different name this time. However, he refused and he suggested that I ask someone else, so I went ahead and asked Felix Cheng to do it. As you can see, Felix Cheng did not completely copy the original image, and maybe that is a good thing. Now that I have the history of the spamming engine out of the way, I'll tell you about the current name. In the original Part 11, he was called Ingreeno, which is incorrect. This mistake was on me, as I thought the L was an I, and for some reason, I thought there was an N at the beginning. I fixed this mistake for the 2014 and 2024 revisions. In the original and 2014 versions, only Jason here has the subtitle number 8, which is absent in the 2024 version. Dark Slug's name was changed to sound less threatening for both revisions. In the original, the word dark was something else. Great Way Round is missing his name board in the original and 2014 versions, but I added it back for the 2024 version. TTTE Stinks' name was not censored in the original version at all, but his name was changed to TTTE Stinks for both revisions. However, do I need to have his name censored? I think this word was said in Sly 2 Band of Thieves and in Power Rangers Dino Fury and Cosmic Failure. I mean Cosmic Fury. The Toilet Guy 911 had the subtitle The Super Asparagus in the original, but I accidentally left this out in the 2014 revision. But but I put it back in the 2024 revision. That's 2 mistakes I made for the 2014 revision that I fixed for the 2024 revision. Omgyo WTX's name wasn't censored at all in the original. It was just some abbreviations, by the way. In the 2014 version, she has the subtitle The Yellow Engine, but not so in either the 2024 version or the original. Luigi2346, the real one, not the imposter, MetalNat111, and Sailor Venus Fangirl are given the subtitles The Engine Car, The Steam Train, and The Guards Compartment, respectfully, in the 2014 version, but they do not have these subtitles in the original or the 2024 versions. If you've watched my 1 facts video about each character, you may already know this one, but I'm going to bring it up again as it is relevant to this video. In the original, Catherine Fan 32's name was spelled wrong, but I fixed it for both the 2014 and 2024 versions. Jonathan 140 has the subtitle The Thin Controller in the 2014 version, but this subtitle is absent in both the original and 2024 versions. I think I forgot to add it in the 2024 version. Nintendo and Sega Fan 1 had 2 images of himself made. The first version was used in episode 13, and the second in episode 15. The original image was lost on MAJ Host, and this was before that site went down for who knows why. I think what happened is that Felix Cheng tried to upload both images into the same folder, and because there was already a picture with the title Nintendo and Sega Fan 1, the newer image overwrote the original image. I don't know if Felix Cheng knew this, but because of this, I had to use the Part 15 image for both episodes in the 2014 version. For the 2024 version, I just recreated the original image and used that for episode 13, but the Part 15 picture isn't used at all. George Miser's name was just 1 word in the original and 2014 versions, as this was his username. I separated his first and last name for the 2024 version. Steve3605 appeared green in the original version, which was also carried over to the 2014 version. He is meant to be the Works Diesel. This isn't subtitled in the original, but he gains the subtitle in the 2014 version, and in the 2024 version, he is given his accurate blue and yellow livery. Argantosaurus gains a mustache in the 2024 version to accurately match with Art Bugatti. He was missing his mustache in the prior versions. Ben Hudson 1, if I remember correctly, was originally incorrectly called Ben Hudson 1 in the original, but it appears that Felix Cheng corrected this for the MAJ Host upload, which is the version I've been using since then. So, he is called by his proper name in both the 2014 and 2024 versions. In the original, he has the subtitle Blister 1, but Villainy 1985 doesn't have Blister 2, as he should, but instead his name is just repeated in the subtitle. Diesel Fan 50 in the same episode had the same mistake. Both of these mistakes were corrected for the 2014 version. Both BHS1 and MV1985 have the subtitles for which blister they are meant to be. Fun fact, I actually requested for BHS1 to be Blister 2 and MV1985 to be Blister 1, but Felix Cheng swapped them around either in error or because he thought they were better switched. Ray the Train Engine is shown to have black wheels in the original, but has red wheels in the 2024 version, to accurately match his character. Hail Nico Yasha's name was originally separated as Hail, Nico, Yasha, but both revisions have her name as 1 word. Forget France Official's name was mostly censored in the original, but his name was changed to I Hate France Official for the 2014 version, and to Forget France Official for the 2024 version. He also gains a name board for the 2024 version, which is missing from the 2 previous versions. Forget Thomas the Train has a similar case with the censorship of his name as well, although unlike Forget France Official, his name was never painted on his side, because most troublesome trucks didn't have their names painted on their side. Super Famicom 17's name was originally misspelled as Super Famicam 17 on his nameboard, and as Super Famicom 17 in his text. But in the 2014 version, I fixed this error for the text, but his nameboard is left as it is. In the 2024 version, his nameboard is taken out since Leo didn't have a nameboard. I am not sure why Felix Cheng added one since he was the one who created Leo. What's funny is that the reverse happens with our next two characters. Both Paulo 20x6 and Shutup223 are missing their nameboards for their original and 2014 versions, but I added them for the 2024 version. Also, doesn't it look like this says Paulo 20x618 because the number 18 appears right after his name? Wouldn't it be funny if this was actually his name and Felix Cheng just decided to leave out the 18 in the name and had the number 18 in the image be part of the name? That isn't the case. It's just Paulo 20x6. The number 6 ends the name. There's no 18. At least the 2024 revision would make it more obvious the number 18 is not meant to be part of the name. Vekoma Nova Stinks' name was not censored in the original, but for the 2014 version, his name is Vekoma Nova Stinks. However, for the 2024 version, his name is incorrectly spelled as Vekoma Nova Stinks, with an A instead of an O. I guess I noticed so many similarities between that name and the Bionicle character Vekoma. Also, the original and 2014 versions showed an edited image of Albert from the Railway series. But in the 2024 version, the image that is used is an edited image of Albert that Felix Cheng did for his MAJ host gallery, which I fortunately did save before the site went down. Hey, Wolf Lady, isn't there some cute boy who is waiting to get kissed around here? I am flattered, but I was referring to a boy that had two tails. Now for All-American B0Y9, in the original, AAB0Y9's name just appears as such, so it is unclear if that is an O or a 0, the latter of which is the case. For the 2014 version, I just had it be All-American B, parentheses, 0, close parentheses, Y9, to make it clear it is a 0 and not an O. Both he and Typhoon Quadruple 6 do not have subtitles in the original, but in the 2014 version, they have the subtitles Calvin Coach and Herb Coach, so audiences don't think it's just Annie and Clarabelle again. The 2024 version has them with the subtitles This is Calvin and This is Herb, respectfully, for the same reason as before. Also, AAB0Y9 is missing his name on his side, but I added it for the 2024 version, even putting in a slash through the 0. Peterfile08 has the subtitle The Mallard in the original and 2014 versions, but in the 2024 version, he has the subtitle This is AJ. This is to let viewers know this is the fan character AJ the Mallard, and not the character called Mallard from the Railway series. For Sweet Chick 91 as the Snow Engine, in the original and 2014 versions, her main title is just Sweet Chick 91, and her subtitle says The Snow Engine. But in the 2024 version, she is called Snow Engine Sweet Chick 91 in the main title. The images for all the engines having a nightmare in Calling All Engines have CAE Nightmare in front of their names in the original and 2014 versions. While in the 2024 version, each one is called by what the nightmare is about, such as Playground Nightmare, for example. Also, the original Perfy Nightmare image was lost, so I had to improvise. Chaz has the subtitle number 12 in the original, but not in either revision. As for both Eli J. Brown Imposters, they have the subtitle for the characters they are supposed to be in both the original and 2014 revisions, but not so in the 2024 version. This is also the case for GTPS 2, James the Red Engine 1, and Kphoria. They all had the subtitle for their counterparts in the original and in the 2014 revisions, but they are gone for the 2024 revision. Also, in the original, Eli J. Puff's original name was not censored on his name board, and in the text, only the vowel is censored. But for both revisions, I just used his DeviantArt name. Also, why Puff? I never understood that. Now, since Part 18 was never officially named, I'm going to say what differences with some of the Part 18 characters there likely would have been if Felix Cheng had made this episode. Assuming the users who appeared in my fan episode are the same as what we would have gotten if Felix Cheng did this episode in 2010. Caboose 902DD and KOTOR Fan DS likely would have the subtitles of their counterparts instead of having no subtitles. It's possible that I would have requested Dark Pumpkin X to be called Mr. Superfinger, as that was the name he went by at the time I encountered him. Considering the image of Lore's Lover shows Kuno and Thomas Fan 08 in the background, I would assume if Felix Cheng did this image, Kuno would have his original brown face. Or maybe he wouldn't, as he didn't in the merchandise video. Oh, Lawleaf GFTW might have gotten the subtitle The Rough Rotting Engine, just as Dick had, but I'm not sure. The punk girl dog's name is also censored with a different name. It is likely it would be partially or mostly censored if Felix Cheng did this episode. I also would expect that 10 cents 01, not 10 cents 01 with a 0, but 10 cents 01 with the letter O. It's most likely Felix Cheng would not give any clear indication that this is a knockoff account instead of the real one. So it's likely that he wouldn't have any subtitle. Unlike in the version that I made, in which there is an indication that this is not the real 10 cents 01. And now to get to how the episodes themselves had changed. For the 2014 revision, I did my best to make them look as close to the original episodes as I could, along with some restrictions such as the censorship of names. Episodes 1, 2, and 3 are pretty much identical between the original Felix Cheng master and the 2014 remaster, with nothing changed at all if noticeable. For the 2024 remaster, I went with using the Rockwell condensed text for the series from the beginning, while the original master and the 2014 remaster used the standard text for the first 3 episodes. When I did the 2014 remaster, I wanted to keep it looking like the original, but the 2024 remaster was a total remaster of the series, and I wanted it to be revamped in a way. Now, I'm sure people have seen the live premiere of the 2024 remaster back in November and noticed that I use special versions of the songs and music for episodes 4 through 17. That was just for the special premiere, as the individual uploads would just use the original music of each song. I did, however, make a change for episodes 1 and 2. In the original and the 2014 masters, I used the original hit era theme. However, as of 2020, any new uploads featuring that song have been getting some copyright blocks. For some reason, any uploads I have with that song that were uploaded before 2020 are still up with no viewing restrictions as of the writing of this script. So you can still view episodes 1 and 2 of the 2014 remaster. But if I were to use this version of the theme for the 2024 remaster, the videos would get blocked for copyright. It has been 5 years and this restriction has still not been lifted. As a result of that, I had to use an alternate version of that theme, which thankfully isn't blocked for copyright. I was going to use the classic intro theme for episode 1 and the classic closing theme for episode 2, but a lot of people suggested this version of the theme instead. The song for episode 3 is left unchanged since Headmaster Hastings obviously hasn't done his own take on the song I'm the Boss or any Charlie Chalk song. Yes, that's where this song is from. And I haven't been able to find anyone else who has done a fan recreation of this song either, or even an official recreation. so I left it as it is. For episode 4, all of the characters are left the same, but as for the intro, the 2014 remaster has the subtitle with some slight edits, since this was the first episode in this remaster that had some differences from the original Felix Cheng version. Also, every episode of the 2024 revision has the title Kuno the Tank Engine Generation 1 Part whatever episode number it is. So because of that, I'll only bring up how the original title differs from the 2014 version. Episode 5 had a total of 5 different versions. The first version used the hit era intro, which as I said earlier, I cannot use without the video getting blocked until they finally decide to lift the blockage. There were only 5 characters who appeared in that version of the episode. Those being Nibbles, GP's sister, Thomas Fan 4, Fearless Teen Korea, and Hogbait66. And no, I didn't use the wrong image or say the wrong name. Originally, Hogbait66 was added in as Henrietta, but he didn't like this and asked Felix Cheng to change it. So in the second version of the episode, Borak Quadruple 1 was Henrietta, and Hogbait66 was changed to Derek. This was also the first version of the episode to use the Thomas Anthem, which would be the case for every version of the episode that came after. This episode was also the first version to feature every other character who appeared in the episode as we know it now. However, Stanyard Jack wasn't always Wilbert. Originally, he appeared as Lori 1, but just like Hogbait66, Jack requested to be changed, and Sagasagi was now Lori 1, while Jack became Wilbert as he is now. Both remakes Felix Cheng made also had the subtitle 5th Part Redone, but the 2014 revision doesn't have this subtitle. The 2014 revision was made based on the last version by Felix Cheng. As for the 2024 revision, the only difference with the characters is that Sagasagi was cut from this episode and was moved to episode 12. So Stanyard Jack, still as Wilbert, appeared right after Bully Sucker 950. I figure that since this last version of the episode just shoved in another character, I may as well take one character out. Felix Cheng could have moved Jack's new character to Part 8, which I even suggested him to do because that episode was being remade around the same time. More on that in a moment. For Episode 6, none of the characters were removed or added in the 2024 revision. The same characters and users still appeared, but I decided to change the order of 2 characters. I switched places with myself and TC58. I did this because of something that happened between me and TC58, and something that happened between me and Catalano Arts. However, these 2 things were unrelated to one another. I won't say what it was though, but I'm sure some of you guys may already know what those things were. For Episode 7, the 2014 remaster has the subtitle with some slight edits. As for what characters were changed, here's the list of characters in the original, and here's the 2024 revision. For Episode 8, this version had to be remade, just as Episode 5 did, but this time it was because Adam was given the wrong name. I won't say what it was, but needless to say, this was the result of some miscommunication between me and Felix Cheng. At least he was kind enough to fix it. Much like Episode 5, Episode 8 didn't always have the song Rules and Regulations. The original version had the hit era intro used instead. Every version after that had rules and regulations. And to WMG, do you know how important this remake was to me? Also, by claiming to own this song when you don't, you're ignoring the point of the song. As for the title differences, the remake had the subtitle The Remake, while the 2014 version says The Remake of course. And now here's the list of characters in the original version of the episode. Here's the remake and the 2014 version, and the 2024 version. For Episode 9, I don't think there were very many other differences besides the ones I've mentioned for the characters. But for the character differences, here's the original cast list, and here's the 2024 revision list. I will also mention that in the original version by Felix Cheng, there was a chugging sound that played at the end. but this chugging sound is not present in either reversion that I have made. Episode 10 had no major changes besides the ones I've mentioned for each user, so there's nothing more I can say about this one. For episode 11, none of the characters were ever changed, but if anyone has noticed some slight differences between the 2024 and 2014 versions of any episode, or even compared them to the original, episode 11 is the most noticeable. In the original and 2014 revisions, the Toilet Guy 911's image is on screen for a much longer time compared to the rest of the images, but in the 2024 version, the images are more balanced out. For episode 12, Umgyo WTX is the character that starts the episode in the original and the 2014 versions, but she is replaced by Sagazagi in the 2024 remaster, as Umgyo WTX was moved to Part 8. The 2014 revision also has the subtitle, The Revision, added in. For episode 13, the 2024 revision has Muddy Kuno added in. In both previous versions, this image was not used. Both the original and 2014 versions also have the title of the episode repeat at the end. Much like episode 12, the 2014 version adds The Revision. I may as well mention it now that episodes 12 through 17 of the 2014 revision have Revision added in the title. At this point, I think the only other differences would be what characters appeared in each episode and how they were changed between the 2014 and 2024 revisions. So here's part 14. Here's part 15. Here's part 16. And finally, part 17. Now, episode 17 was the only episode of the original series that had the engines with shaded faces, as Felix Cheng began to have his engine pictures show the characters with shaded faces. I don't think I could ever get this good. While I do like how they appear, I still prefer the original design a bit more. For the 2024 revision, the faces were changed to not be shaded. If episode 18 had been made, the characters' faces would have been shaded in that one too. Also, the original version of episode 17 used the shorter version of the song, That's What Friends Are For, while the 2014 and 2024 revisions used the full version of the song. Because of this, there are some very noticeable differences between how the images appear compared to the music. It is also because of this that a delay occurred between Rysicus's image in the original, which doesn't happen in the 2014 version. Any delays that happened again in the 2014 version, I kept in if they were in the original, but there were some delays that occurred that didn't occur originally. So I had to work around making a number of different edits until those lags ended up getting removed. It was not all that easy, but that was just the effect of Windows Movie Maker. In the 2024 version, no delays happened at all since they were made using VSDC Video Editor instead of Windows Movie Maker. And those are all the differences between versions of Generation 1, or at least all the ones I remembered. Now, before I close off this video, here is something that happened after I finished writing the script for this video and before I began editing. You may recall that I mentioned earlier that the original Ava image was recently found. Well, that is because the YouTube user Raging Thomas has managed to find some of the missing New Engine slideshow videos that Felix Cheng had created. I am also going to mention that Roberto, or however his name is pronounced, I apologize if I mispronounced it, and Ben TLF were able to find most of these episodes, and Raging Thomas had re-uploaded them onto his own channel. I don't think that every episode of Felix Cheng's New Engine slideshow series is completely recovered yet, but at least a lot more episodes from that series have been brought out than there were when I started work on this video. Not sure if we will ever have all 29 episodes recovered, but it's a start at least. I used a screenshot of Ava from his upload of episode 16. So this time around, I didn't need to use my recreation of that image. No, had this not happened, then I would have used the recreated image. And I also see that he uploaded the original Ilex Railway tribute video, which I had also done a revision of. But I guess now we have both a revision version of a Felix Cheng video and the original. So I guess you guys can do a side-by-side comparison between my version of that video and the original Felix Cheng video. So I would like to thank you all for watching this video, and I hope to see you all again in the next video that I do. I'll see you guys next time.